Actually, we're going to switch it up a little bit. And yet again, Jimmie Johnson beats the rest of the crowd, this time to his final press conference.
God, I won something this year.
Of his full-time NASCAR Cup Series career. So if you have a question for Jimmie, please raise your hand, and we'll get to as many questions as we can. Like I said, we have a full slate of drivers and champions and folks coming to the media center. So we'll get to as many as we can. Start down here. Bob Pockris, lead us off, please.
Jimmie, what'd you tell Chase when you saw him after the race? And also, do you have any plans like for your helmet, gloves, and that type of stuff?
I don't remember what I said to him. There was a lot of screaming. I remember him saying, "Can you believe it?" And just so happy for him. I'm sure I was saying something along those lines, just how happy I am for him. I saw him on track and left a big donut on the side of his car, and I was able to get a high five as he was coming around to do burnouts, and I was waving goodbye. So certainly a couple cool moments. And helmet and gloves, I haven't thought too far. Chase and I have been talking about a helmet swap, so this might be a good opportunity to swap helmets with him tonight. We'll see how that goes.
Next up, we'll go to Dustin Albino. Go ahead, Dustin.
Yeah, Jimmie, what were the emotions like prior to the race today?
Really just excited to do this, excited to get on track and have this final event. For me, the hardest point was about this time last year when thoughts were heavy in my mind. And I was going to make the decision and made the decision to myself and my family, and then had to go to Rick's house and talk that through with Mr. Hendrick. So that point in time was probably the most emotional and most difficult. And as the year has gone by, many moments of reflection and just pride, and then all of that rolled into today, and just very excited to be on track. And it was nice to be competitive out there and run the top five, finish in the top five. But my bucket's full. I mean, this NASCAR has been so wonderful for me. This journey has been more than I could have ever dreamed of or expected or hoped for. And the last couple of years on track weren't as I've dreamed up, but I've experienced the highest of highs, and worked with the greatest people, and been with one team through this entire journey. And just very thankful for all the people that have helped me get here. So all those emotions and all that pride rolled up into just a huge smile today, walking out on the grid.
Next up, we'll take Jeff.
Hey, Jimmie, I'm sure it wouldn't have changed, how you view this if you had finished 15th or 10th or something, but to be 5th and only, be the top driver behind the championship does that have any special significance in your last race to go out as that guy that's, just behind those guys?
No, it does. I didn't realize that was the case. And Evie told me that on pit lane. She said, "Daddy, I think you won." I said, "No, I finished 5th." She said, "No, the first 4 cars were in the championship and you beat everybody else." So she brought it to my attention and had her own version of me winning, which I appreciated. But just a good competitive day. And I could see the 11 up there and was slowly catching him, but just kind of ran out of laps. But it was nice to keep my eyes forward and have a great car and race that hard all day long.
Keep it down here and go to Dominic, then Cole.
Dominic Otto going with the Racing Experts. So when you look back on this season, what are some of the biggest lessons you have learned as a competitor? And then I have a follow-up.
Lesson, I would say, I thought I hit bottom a few times, and there was a bottom a little lower than what I envisioned. So, I felt like on track, there were mistakes that I made. We had issues, times where the team made mistakes, had bad luck on track, supposedly had COVID and missed the Brickyard 400. There were just many lows that kept rolling. And, I just when I thought that was it, there was another low, and I just had to figure out how to put a smile on my face and what was important to me and what 2020 was going to be like, regardless of the way things took place on the track. And I really hit that stride, and it doesn't mean I didn't pout from time to time, because performance on track really sets your mood for the week. But I found a way to smile and work through it and finish strong.
And then down the road, when you're looking back on this race weekend, in particular, today's race in particular, what are you going to remember most, or what's going to stick out the most to you?
Chase Elliott won his first championship. I'm so happy for that guy. Great friend, great family. I've been friends with his mom and dad for a lot of years. I can recall going snowboarding with Bill out in Colorado, And Chase was maybe 8 years old, something like that, on skis, super quiet, wouldn't say much. And to watch him grow up and to be around him and to give him some advice from time to time has really been meaningful for me. And today I think more about him winning the championship than anything. It's pretty awesome.
Cool.
Cole Cusimano, Popular Speed. Congrats on a tremendous career, Jimmie. I just wanted to get your opinion on this. So your final Cup championship, you came from the rear and obviously won. Chase did it in his first Cup championship. Had that dawned on you? And do you feel it's kind of like a passing of the torch for him and Hendrick Motorsports?
You know, that thought went through my mind earlier today when I heard they were going to the back. I sent Alan and Chase a text, reminding them that I won a championship that way. Then I saw Chase just before the trucks rolled on the driver intro part of the ceremonies this morning. And I reminded him, I said, man, I've been there. And it's, of the championships I've won, coming from the back, I had less nervous energy in my body when I took the green flag. And it was very easy what I needed to do. And I shared that with him and he smiled and said, man, I hope that's how it goes today. And it did. So we didn't think of it as a passing of the torch, but I tried to share some of my experience and, with him before the race. And I mean, he doesn't need my help. He's plenty good on his own, and I'm glad it worked out for him.
As you probably can see in the queue, we have several questions. If you could just keep your question to one, and if we have time for follow-ups, we'll go back to you. Next one we will take from Mark Garrow. Go ahead, Mark.
Thank you. Jimmie, this is sort of a follow-up on a question you just had. Given the ups and downs and lows that you've had, how important it was that you went out on a high, on a competitive high. The leaders were there. You gave yourself a chance. How important that is it to you? That's the period on this right now.
Ford, I believe he's muted. No, Ford, Jimmie, you're still muted. Hold on one second. There you go. That's good. Sorry about that.
We're gonna need a beer if that's the case.
Okay, we'll now take our next question from Steve Homer. Go ahead, Steve.
Yes, Jimmie. You know what a first championship meant to you. What do you think it's going to mean to Chase, and how does that reshape a driver's career, do you think?
It really does change your confidence as a driver, as a leader of a race team, and it positions you just different in the fan space, and there's a bunch of credibility that comes with that. Not that Chase needs any fans, but I'm sure there might be naysayers out there. So a big moment like this really cements you in everybody's head as the real deal. It's one thing to win races, it's one thing to be fast, but to get it all done and win races and be fast and win a championship is the most difficult thing to do in our sport. So for him to have a championship at this age and being so young, there's no telling what the win total will be for him or his championship total.
Thank you.
Mark Arrow, I know your answer is muted. Do you want to repeat that question?
Okay, take two. Sorry about that. Jimmie, just your feelings about going out at such a competitive level. You talked a moment ago about the lows and all that. Is just how do you feel about going out with a performance where you kind of drove from the back and stayed up front all day?
It definitely feels good for my final race to run well. A big tent full of friends here watching. My family was clearly here, And, I didn't have too much riding on today in making sure that I had a good run, just because I always plan to run well, and in my head, I always feel like I should. But ultimately, this year is just a little bittersweet for me, and to have the issues we have had and not be competitive down the stretch, not make the playoffs, all that still stings. But to finish with a solid top 5 to close things out is nice.
Next up, we'll go to Taryn Wack. Go ahead, Taryn.
Hi, Jimmy. Thanks for taking my question. I was wondering if it has hit you yet that this is the end of your full-time career in NASCAR, or do you think that'll come later?
I've let in about as much as I can. I feel like, the off season will happen, and I won't have team meetings and team 2021 planning meetings, and my trips to the shop won't be as frequent. I'll still go and still be around HMS just because it's home. But I think as next year comes around and I don't go to Daytona for the 500, and those first that come along, that's when it will continue. We'll take deeper. It'll continue to set in deeper and deeper then. But I feel like I've had a very special week. A lot of friends in town. I've spoken to a lot on the phone, a lot through text, a lot of meaningful conversations, and I'm very thankful that I've had that from friends, family, a lot of my peers here today. So I'm feeling pretty full right now.
Thank you.
Next, we'll go to Davey Siegel. Go ahead, Davey.
Hey, Jimmy, COVID has affected this year in a bunch of ways at the track, obviously, and you hadn't been able to have your family with you most of the year. How special was it to have them with you today on what was obviously a really special day for you?
Yeah, that was everything. They haven't been to a race since Fontana. So to have them here and have them a part of this is something I really, really hoped could happen. And once I knew we were going to have fans at the track, I felt like the chances were high, and very thankful I was able to have them here.
Next up, we'll go to Michael Shelton. Go ahead, Michael.
Thank you very much. So, Jimmy, congratulations again on an outstanding career. But obviously, you're not done racing, period. You're moving to IndyCar next year. So, when do you start your preparations to join Chip Ganassi Racing for next season? And then, how much are you looking forward to IndyCar? Is it going to be kind of like a rebirth for you in a way?
Yeah, I'm not sure what to think of it all just yet. I was able to drive the car on Monday in Alabama at the Barber racetrack. Learned a lot and know the areas that I need to work to be more competitive in those cars. I'm also traveling tomorrow to Monterey, California. We're testing there on Tuesday. So I get another shot at testing the car and getting a feel for things. So I'm integrated into the team. Certainly more throughout the off season will take place. Their season just finished, and obviously ours did as well. But I'm plugged in over there and trying to learn what I can, and just trying to make the switch from a car with very little downforce to a car with a lot of downforce. So I have a big challenge ahead of myself.
Come back down here to Michael Knight. Michael,
Thank you. Congratulations.
Hi, Jimmy. Michael Knight. Very few people in any stage of life get to go out on their own terms. Could you give us some insight into how special that element of it makes all of this that has happened to you? And also, they showed on TV out on pit road a group hug that was you, Mr. H, and Chase. Do you remember what you felt at that moment or anything that was said?
I don't. Chase kept saying, "Can you believe it?" And I don't know what I was saying, but I just so proud of Chase, and then to be there with Rick. That's the first time I've seen Rick in person since March. So there was a lot going on in one moment there, I think, for all three of us. A very meaningful moment for me to be there with Rick and with Chase. But I can't remember what was exactly said. Of course, very happy and all the things that come along those lines. What was your first question, Michael?
The ability to go out on your own terms, which very few people are able to do.
Yeah, I mean, I have friends that have been NASCAR drivers, friends of mine that have played professional football, professional baseball. Very few have had the opportunity to call their shot and say when they're done. Some have had injury, some were forced out, some sponsorship or opportunity passed them by. And in either way, watching them, there's a big void that I've noticed. And I'm just thankful that I won't have that void. I was able to do it on my terms. I was able to have the support from Ally and Mr. Hendrick and Hendrick Motorsports to step down when I wanted to and on my terms. So I'm very thankful for that.
Thank you.
Stay down here to Alex.
Thank you. Hey, Jimmie. You mentioned kind of the intensified amount of spotlight or pressure that comes with being a champion. And I'm wondering what advice you have for Chase, given that you're kind of making your exit and he's starting this championship ascent.
Yeah, we talk a lot, and he has an amazing grasp on things. And at the end of the day, it's really the driver and the crew chief and how they want to conduct business. And Alan and Chase have a great relationship. They know what they need out of each other. And Chase, being as young as he is, has a ton of wisdom and a ton of knowledge. And clearly he's been around the sport for a lot of years and a lot of great people that he surrounds himself with. So I'm always amazed when we chat just how put together his thoughts are when we do talk. I mean, at his age, my head was scrambled and I was all over the place. And we chatted a couple times this week, and he had it all in line. I mean, and I could genuinely tell that his head was in the right place. He didn't have unneeded nerves and anxiety flowing through him. I mean, he really was calm and ready to get out here and get to work. Then, of course, starting at the back, it was a real test of the system at that point. And I saw him before we rolled out to the cars, and he was at peace. So he's just really wise beyond his years, and with that, extremely talented.
I know there are a number of questions left in the queue, but we have time for 2 more. We'll take Cameron down here and then go to Rob Tiongson on Zoom, and then we'll wrap it.
Cameron Richardson, the Lumberjack. Jimmie, I just want to know, was there an interaction maybe you had with a fan or just anyone maybe just a little bit outside the racing community that you aren't always around with that kind of will always stick with you and just really encapsulates everything you've done in your career?
Rolled around the track and waved goodbye, and came down pit lane and gave a high five to every single crew member that down pit lane. They all came off the wall and were standing out there, and there was a long line of crew members. And that respect from my peers and respect from the industry is something I'll never ever forget.
Rob, bring us home.
Thanks, Matt. Jimmie, congratulations on a fantastic career. I know you've been doing a lot of contemplating, so my question for you is, if you could talk to your younger self back in the year 2000, when you knew you were going to get the chance to drive in Cup, would your younger self believe you've had this incredible journey as a 7-time champion?
No, there's no way. And I would have told myself to relax. Everything's going to be just fine. I don't know if I would ask myself to really change much, because I am who I am, and all of the overthinking and worrying and the sleepless nights and waking up early to try to find an advantage, all that paid off. So I don't know if I would change anything, but maybe I'd tell myself just to chill out and enjoy the ride, because everything was going to turn out just fine.
Thanks, Jimmie. See you down the road.
Thanks.
And that'll do it for questions for Jimmie. Jimmie, any parting words for us as we say goodbye to legend?
Well, thank you. I just absolutely want to thank the media. Known many of you for a lot of years, and just thank you for covering the sport. Thank you for being a part of this industry. Most of all, thank you for being a friend and being on this journey together. You work very hard. You are first in, last out, away from your families, away from your friends, more than I even am. And I know how hard it is on my end. So a sincere thank you to all of you. And I look forward to seeing you guys less often, not because I don't want to see you, but because I'm slowing down and I'll only be in the media center at a few IndyCar races, I guess. But thank you all very much. See you in March.
Thank you, Jimmie. Congratulations.
Everybody,
and
really appreciate it.
Amazing career.